And we are onward to day 64 of the Storage 100 series. I am Joe Downs with the Storage Moguls Mastermind, and today we are taking a look at projecting your performance from years 2 through 5, because this is where you define the future of your asset, future value of your asset, I should say, for both yourself and your capital partners. And to do this properly, folks, we need to understand the difference between a conservative projection and an aggressive one. So the assumptions you choose here directly impact your valuation and your ability to secure financing. A conservative approach builds credibility. An aggressive one can undermine it pretty quickly. So in this episode, we're going to break down the specific assumptions that define each path, with the goal being to model reality, not just optimism. So we will begin by looking at the fundamental risk in this process, which is the projection trap. It's simple. The market rewards hitting your numbers and punishes missing. If you use conservative projections, you set a low bar and are likely to hit or exceed your targets. Hitting your numbers builds trust with your lenders, with investors. It's essential for future deals. Conversely, aggressive projections set an unrealistically high bar. When you inevitably miss those aggressive targets, you damage your reputation and credibility. And your financial partners care deeply about which approach you take because it signals your risk tolerance and competence. You want to be the sponsor who consistently delivers more than promised. You've heard the phrase overpromise, underdeliver, right? So let's take a peek at what a truly conservative projection looks like in practice. A conservative projection is grounded in realistic, sustainable growth rates for the self-storage sector. We're going to assume rent increases will be modest, typically in the 2 to 3% range annually. Occupancy growth is also slow and steady, maybe 2 to 5% per year as this facility stabilizes. If you're seeing more than that, you can push it, but these are projections we're talking about. And then most importantly, we need to factor in OPEX increases of 3 to 4%, acknowledging the reality of inflation and rising costs. We don't assume perfect execution or zero surprises. We build in a buffer for the unexpected. This model reflects a steady, predictable growth that's easily defensible to any underwriter. It's a low-risk, high-credibility approach that sets you up for success. All right, now let's contrast that with an aggressive assumption. And so aggressive projections are characterized by assumptions that are simply unsustainable for a 5-year period. They often model rent increases of 6 to 10% annually, which is highly optimistic and market-dependent. Occupancy growth is modeled at 10 to 15% per year, assuming a rapid linear path to stabilization. Looks awesome on paper. The most dangerous assumption, though, is often flat or minimal OPEX increases, ignoring real-world cost pressures. This model assumes perfect execution and a flawless market environment where everything goes just right. That never happens. It creates a hockey stick growth chart that looks great on paper, but rarely materializes that way. This is a high-risk approach that sacrifices your credibility for a higher initial valuation and wow factor because you're trying to raise money or get a deal. So let's look at the actual outcomes of these two approaches, starting with the conservative model. Beauty of the conservative approach is makes you look like a hero to your investors. In year 2, you hit your projections, maybe coming in slightly over at 105%, let's say. Year 3, similar, you hit your numbers, maybe 102, 105%. Maintaining consistency and trust. By year 4, your conservative assumptions have been exceeded and you're at 108% of the projection. Maybe year 5, you've significantly outperformed, hitting 112. It's the compound effect, right? It's the slow and steady wins the race. The consistent outperformance is a result of setting a realistic bar and then simply executing your plan. This results in a reputation. This process results in a reputation of competence, reliability. That's invaluable in this business. You will continue to maintain your investors' expectations and trust. Or you could do the other way. Let's look at an aggressive scenario, which is far more common that we see. Aggressive projections create a massive reality gap. The goal is to show the highest possible return to attract capital, but this approach is fundamentally flawed and dangerous. Our data shows 28-30% of aggressive performance miss their targets by year 5. This isn't just a minor shortfall. It creates serious consequences. Your lender will become concerned and your investors will be frustrated. You've damaged your credibility, which is the most important and valuable asset you have right now. So how do you avoid this trap and build projections that actually hold up? We need a disciplined approach to projecting years 2 through 5. This is how you build a conservative, defensible performance. Never use aspirational numbers. Base everything on a trailing market data. For rent increases, use inflation plus a small buffer like 1%. If inflation is 2.5%, your rent growth is capped at 3.5%. Occupancy growth must be slow and steady, not a sudden jump. Cap your occupancy growth at 3 to 5% per year maximum. Operating expenses always increase, so factor in inflation plus 0.5%. These conservative assumptions create a solid foundation for your model and should put you on solid ground to maintain your debt service, which is kind of important. The debt service reality is the anchor of your financial model. It's the one number that is fixed and predictable every month. Your mortgage payment, principal and interest, remains constant. This is why net operating income growth is so powerful. Since the debt payment is fixed, every dollar of NOI growth flows directly to your cash flow and profit. Conservative projections build a necessary safety margin. And this margin ensures you can always cover your debt, even during slow years. Protecting that debt service is protecting your asset and your investors and you. Which brings us to the core philosophy of successful self-storage investing. There is a direct, undeniable link between your projections and your results. Conservative projections lead you to hitting your numbers. Aggressive projections almost always lead to you missing your numbers. Goal is simple: underpromise, overdeliver. This builds trust with your partners and your lenders. It ensures your financial success and protects your reputation. This is the mindset that separates the successful operators from the ones who end up burning their investors or their own bank accounts. Okay, I hope you found this presentation today helpful, and I hope it helps you understand the projection gap most people get fooled or fool themselves into. If you are raising capital, apply these conservative principles immediately. All right, next up tomorrow, day 65, exciting, SBA loans for self-storage, the complete guide. Please like this video if you found any value in it. Found it to be honest, conservative financial advice, give me a like. Subscribe to join the community of disciplined storage investors and so you don't miss the daily videos and periodic lives with special guests like we had the other night. And share this with someone pitching aggressive projections. They'll thank you later.